All right, Middlecoff. Trey Lance, second pro day because Kyle Shanahan wants, Kyle Shanahan gets. Already got the Bose. You got the Bose headphone endorsement going. The T-shirt though.
The T-shirt's sweet.
That
Quarterback
is
you
strong
for an FCS school, and then you're like, yeah, they got Carson Wentz, Cooper Rush, and they got this guy. They're gonna have two guys.
Wait, Easton Stick. Was he
What
one
did
of
I
theirs
say?
too?
I said Cooper Rush. Yeah, Easton Stick. Cooper Rush, Easton Stick, similar name somehow.
Cooper Rush the.
I think he plays a different position. I don't even fucking know. But the quarterback you for a program at the FCS level, Carson was 15 and this guy's 21. To have two guys draft, one at 2 and one at 3, that's an incredible accomplishment in modern day football.
It is. Yeah, it is. Cooper Rush, Cowboys, Central Michigan, the fighting
Gotcha.
Jim McElwain's. All right, let's look at some throws, John. Here we go. We're going to look one at a time. We'll just talk about the throws as we look. We got this one hit slow-mo. John Middlecoff, former NFL scout. There's Kyle in the background, I think.
I don't know if that's Kyle.
No?
You think that's Kyle? I think that's his teammates.
You think Kyle's that guy's a little taller than Kyle?
Yeah, I think that's
and like
North
the
Dakota
SID
State guys.
on the right?
Yeah. I don't love, if I'm nitpicking here, Peyton Manning's key on, when you do a play action fake, you pretend it's a real handoff and you sell that. Don't
You talking
love
about the empty hand?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the ball hand. We got to really sell it. Again, nitpicking. But we can do a little better sell job. That's something that Kyle and McDaniels will hammer home once you get into camp.
Give it 5 minutes. The ball will land. Hold on. We got this in super slow-mo.
You know what I'm saying? See
yeah.
that?
Okay, let's.
Quick. Watch you got to sell it, guy. I need those linebackers coming up. See, you got to remember Peyton was always really extending.
Yeah. You know what it is, John? It's a coaching point. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in OTA Zooms. Okay. Anything else you want to see on this throw? I mean, deep ball. We'll see a couple other deep throws here.
Good snap.
What do you think about the ball location? Tight spiral. NFL football.
Oh, really, really tight. NFL ball. Looks like they got some suites up there.
Don't see any. Is that Citibank? Golden Citibank?
Hits him right, a little underthrown.
Okay. Scooch a little to your right there. I don't want to keep covering up your face here with these videos. All right, next. See, this throw right here, to me, maybe someone could find me a video that would refute the point I'm about to make. This is the throw. This is why I don't like the Colin Kaepernick comp. Because I don't think Colin had that touch coming out of college.
No, he didn't. I mean, I don't think he really had it in the pros. This was not a throw that he did well, right? Because to me, this throw is it slow mo? No, is it slow motion or normal motion?
Yeah, it feels like it slows down for a second, but
to me, this feels like the Niners. Little crossing route right there with Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk. A little play action. You roll back, whoop, dump it off. This is a Kyle Shanahan while he's on the sideline. Like, I dialed this bad boy up on Wednesday. Get ready, fellas. Right? And this is just one of those where they get 40 yards, and George Kittle says after the game, Kyle told us it would work, and then boom, we fucking ran it in 45 yards, blink of an eye.
Yep.
Guy wide open. Steal a couple safeties, move him that way with some crossing routes the other way, bring the guy a little delayed route. Doesn't this feel very Green Bay Packers, Niners, Rams, like shit like this?
To me, there's no reason that might not be Kittle, too.
Could be Kittle, yeah. Delay a little block and then take off.
River Craycraft. Okay. By the way, so you and I were watching this video, and I said to you, we looked at the tweet, and I said, oh, yeah, this is JT Man, whatever the Twitter handle was. And we did a quick search of who that was, and Detective Middlecoff, that's Jordan Matthews that he's throwing to, John. Jordan Matthews, who was active has been on the Niners twice. Practice squad, was active for the last 2 games of the year last year. Detective Middlecoff found that one.
Once, I think, went in a draft over Jarvis Landry and Devontae Adams to Chip Kelly, and has made his way throughout his career to the Niners. So that's not nothing, right? Why would you want Jordan Matthews to run this? And it's people I saw on the internet streets, I don't even know what platform, was like, well, yeah, John, North Dakota State, they might not have wide receivers that are on his level. Well, yeah, I understand that, but you think Jordan Matthews just like comes out of the sky? Like, of all the wide receivers you could find all over the country, just random guys. they just end up with Jordan Matthews? No. Couldn't you just let's just play a link game. Trey Lance has been trading with John Beck, who is Kyle Shanahan's guy. John Beck's going to need wide receivers running Kyle Shanahan's stuff. Kyle Shanahan links him up with Jordan Matthews, who just wants to train with somebody. You start playing these connections. Now, as also on the internet streets, Fields wouldn't need that, right? They have enough guys at that program that are NFL guys that you could ask to run these things, right? He's playing with NFL wide receivers. So I'm not saying that, like, why wasn't Jordan Matthews at Fields? Well, because he's playing with blue chippers.
Yeah. I think this shows when people talk about the Niners are controlling Trey Lance, and Barrows wrote about the John Beck thing, and Dan Graziano of ESPN said on Monday morning that the Niners were in control, very much in control of the Trey Lance Pro Day. This, I think we just assumed like, oh, they're going to run some things out of the Niners playbook. But this is significant too, right? You don't think Jordan Matthews you don't think Kyle can call up Jordan Matthews and say, what's he like? What's he been like for you to work with? Not to mention, it's what you know that if something goes wrong on a play, it wasn't Jordan Matthews, because Jordan Matthews knows what he's supposed to be doing, right?
Jordan Matthews, when Chip Kelly drafted him, like his off the field guy is like a Kirk Cousins, a Matt Ryan. Like it's not random that Kyle likes this guy too. You know, this is their type, New England, you know, just the ultimate human. And I would imagine Kyle gravitates to this. Now, he's physically limited. I mean, he's probably not really a borderline NFL player anymore. But like back to what you just said, I do think Kyle really trusts the human being. And he could probably tell him things that maybe you could tell other people that you wouldn't trust. They might tweet something out. They might start saying stuff. Maybe you can just have conversations with Jordan Matthews about a player that just is one-on-one and doesn't get out. Yep. Hey, man, we'll bring you back. Just I got some things to ask you.
Yep.
Maybe they're all in cahoots.
Well, if you're Jordan Matthews, even if there's no promise from Kyle Shanahan, if you're Jordan Matthews, you do this in a heartbeat. It only helps you out, and maybe one day you become Kyle. Maybe he's Kyle Shanahan's receivers coach in 3 years. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's only good.
You think we should hit up Jordan Matthews and see if he wants to come on and talk about it? Do you kind of like that idea? I'm going to write that down.
I love that idea. And I love that you and I, our first reaction, we'll get to a couple more clips here in a second, but we saw this video and you and I were both like, oh, whoever J-Matt is, one of Trey Lance's teammates, this is great exposure for him. And then it just took a little click and you go, oh, it's Jordan Matthews.
I know. My first thought was that this guy, the North Dakota State's fringe draftable wide receiver, he is telling his parents, every family member he's ever had, he's getting all this social run. This today was his Super Bowl. Like my thinking was like, I bet that guy didn't sleep that much last night. Knowing Belichick, Kyle, and all these guys are going to be there.
As we're doing the live video, James says, "Can you all get Jordan Matthews on the podcast like tomorrow?" Everybody DM or tweet at Jordan Matthews. Okay, let's see. What did we just see? We just saw this. Next up, here's another Trey Lance throw.
The videographer is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty cool.
You got to follow the ball, John. This is like, it's not as hard as golf. You need this bigger.
You think it's hard in golf?
I think following the golf ball has to be, from what I've heard, and baseball, like guys who were able to follow the baseball going out of the ballpark, just one of the hardest things to do.
Oh, it's a skill. You're saying if you just took me or you and put us on the camera,
no way.
We could
I
not
think
do it.
These are some of the most skilled camera people in sports.
You think we'd have
television
no
that are doing
shot?
Golf. I think you'd have no shot. I think we would have no shot at following. Keep in mind, the cameras, now I don't know what they're using here. The cameras for golf are big. Like, it's not just like, hold it up to your eye and just, I mean, John, I don't know. We've been to golf events. It's hard enough to follow. I can't, full disclosure, follow my own golf ball, if I'm really being honest.
That's true. So, it's easier doing a football going 50 yards.
All right, what do we do with this?
I mean, overall, guy, the kid has a big fucking arm, right? I mean, I think we know that. He's got a big arm. He's got big arm strength. I think this guy is viewed, and I got a text from someone from a playoff team that are like, wait till the Niners draft Trey Lance. And then I had an NFL reporter in another major market that was like, I think it's Trey Lance. Just see, and you know what? And the NFL reporter was like, I kind of think they're viewing him as their Mahomes, their Allen, just like their project with all these tools, super high character. You just kind of mold. And this goes back to what we've been talking about of, I've been adamant Jimmy's going to go next week. I might have to pull back my prediction if this player is the guy.
And you wouldn't even feel bad about it. By the way, on this video, Look at the guy in the middle. See the guy in the left of the video kneeling. Look at that the guy in the black. He thinks I do this too. I'm short, but you walk under something that you think is low and you duck. This guy thinks he's about to get hit. He's ducking. The guy in the black T-shirt in the middle, he's ducking. Like, bro, you're not 80 feet tall.
Also, he's not throwing a frozen rope here. I mean, this is a deep ball.
All right, here's a ball to.
You and I, before we jumped on, talked about this a little bit. If it was true, and we didn't believe it, we've been adamant from the jump that we red flagged the Mac Jones situation. But let's just say that's true. You end up going to the pro days, which Kyle normally does not do. And that was to, like, put off red flags. Now he doesn't have anything to hide. He's gone all three of these guys' pro days. If you just go watch someone throw, and that's the number one thing you're doing at a pro day is watching the ball. Like, Mac's not a great athlete. You kind of have an idea who's the athlete, right? It goes probably Justin Fields, obviously Trey Lance, and then Mac Jones, a different category of those guys. You know that going in. But just watching the ball come out of their hands would be like going to watch Rory hit golf balls and then just going to watch some other just random good player at another course. I mean, it's just you can't see these guys throw with your own eyes, Justin Fields and Trey Lance, and think like when we've just talked about during the season, talking about the power of arms and Josh Allen, even if you thought that and this is why I think pro days can be a huge red flag for people because it can manipulate your thinking. If you did love the player, this is not football. This is playing pitch and catch. And when you're really skilled, we have seen some of the biggest busts in draft history put on the greatest pro days, right? Like Jamarcus put on a notoriously great pro day where it was like, I've never seen arm strength like that. Playing quarterback is more than that. But I think these two guys, right, aren't just like, their film really sucked, but God, look at this talent. They both were high-level players. How could you put Mac Jones in the same conversation as these two guys?
Yeah, that's where the arguments for Mac Jones come from other things that don't happen in a pro day, right? If you're drafting him, you think it's because it's what happens when there's 11 on 11. You think he's going to be more accurate. You think he's going to make smarter decisions. You think he'll process faster.
But then, okay, let's take another step. If I'm Kyle and I feel comfortable with these guys, football intelligence and work ethic, don't I go like, I think I can develop that?
Absolutely.
Because I go back to Mac Jones. I go, you were tweeting about it like Alabama had 50,000 people to watch the greatest coach ever conduct a spring game. And Sarkisian, who, whatever you thought about him in the USC Washington days, he kind of changed the perception of his career these last 3 years as like pretty dynamic guy. He became the head coach at Texas. Like the coaching, if elite coaching, the best you can be is a 10, Mac Jones got 100%. It doesn't get any better. On top of that, 4 wide receivers in the top 15 back-to-back years. Like it just, to me, there are so many arguments of like, guys, can it get any better for him? Like it just, I'm not trying to diminish his accomplishments, but goddamn, I mean,
I agree. I do think you go down that road though, and you go, okay, let's talk about Ohio State. Let's talk about North Dakota State, right? These are two of the premier programs at their levels, right? With premier talent, premier coaching.
But like we saw Alabama play Ohio State, and Ohio State's a powerhouse, and it looked like varsity versus JV. The game.
Yeah, I mean yeah.
Right.
I agree. I just don't know that I can break ties on that stuff because I'd say, okay, he's not at Alabama, but
I do think. I don't know if there's a huge conversation going. Like if the Niners have just known who they were taking forever. But if you're really talking this out, like truly over the last month of everything you've gathered, you would be having some heated debates because you could have a different person in the room and have conviction on every side, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there is, if we were a debate class, you could construct elite arguments for fucking all three guys.
For sure.
And argue till the cows come home.
Great narratives on every of them because ultimately what is going to be the winner is the thing that when you're making the argument, right, the best arguments are constructed with facts and logic, and the thing that's going to determine whoever they pick reaching their ceiling is the thing that we don't we don't know. There are things we just don't know and cannot measure. That'll be up to Kyle Shanahan to make the most of.
Because they could truly justify all 3 picks with tangible data, right? Touchdowns, wins,
easily make yes.
Physical attributes, all 3 guys.
Yep.
they're going to say we felt the best about this guy moving forward.
And that's
right?
where John Beck is. That's where John Beck's such a big part of this equation.
What if he's
Because
business partners with Jordan Matthews now?
Yeah, that's right. Because he's working with them. Right? Like, to me, if I'm Jordan Matthews, I become, a partner in whatever Beck QB school or whatever it's called. And then I, like Warren Sharp, right? I sell the information I have about the quarterbacks to the teams interested. Here, I will come in as a consultant, right? I'm a receiver consultant for the quarterbacks that you guys are scouting.
Well, won't it make sense if John Beck is going to consistently train all these guys to get ready for this offense that's more and more in vogue? He can just spend his time with the quarterbacks. That you get someone working with the wide receivers, and the wide receivers, where do you want to go? You want to know the routes of all those teams drafting the wide receivers, right?
Right.
I'd argue you guys are only scratching the surface of your lucrative business proposition.